Superheroes come from all sorts of walks of life, including ones that involve them being revived from the afterlife, or making a deal with the devil to get powers, actually. Today we are taking a look at characters who have literally been to hell and back with our list of the top 10 superheroes from the Underworld. By Underworld we mean characters whose origins have some sort of tie to hell or other fictional iterations of hell. So with that in mind, let's get to it, friends. And at number 10, Vengeance. In the 90s, when Dan Ketch was Ghost Rider, Marvel decided to up the ante by introducing this fellow who went by the name of Vengeance. Vengeance, initially an antagonist who debuted in Blaze Spirit of Vengeance issue 9 in 1992, is Lieutenant Michael Battolino, although there would be a second host for Vengeance in the later years. Now similar to Ghost Rider, he is a spirit of vengeance sent from heaven to punish sinners, being one of the last spirits of vengeance in existence. He's a big fan of corporal punishment, hence why he often gets into conflict with Ghost Rider. So how did Battolino become Vengeance? Well, Zarathos' hellfire caused serious psychological damage to his father. His daddy Darius would then kill the rest of his family and commit suicide, leaving only Michael alive. Later in his life, after a military career and a shift to the NYPD, he came across Daniel Ketch, believing him to be the same Ghost Rider that caused his father to go insane. After failing to get Ketch, he turned to Mephisto, trading his soul in order to be given power strong enough to kill Ghost Rider. And there we have it. Now they're kind of buddies, so. And at number 9, Daimon Hellstrom. Hellstrom is the son of Satan. You can tell that he's the son of Satan thanks to that big old pentagram on his chest. Dead giveaway. A Marvel character, his debut was in 1973's Ghost Rider issue 1. He was birthed at the time when occult characters were picking up major steam in the comics industry, with Stan Lee proposing that the publisher create a series that starred Satan himself. Editor Roy Thomas had a few reservations about this. Marvel Spotlight, the series had actually gotten a bit of flack for depicting Satanism and Wiccanism, with critics claiming they were either furthering the cause of evil or depicting these things inaccurately. So instead, he suggested that the focus of the series should be the son of Satan. While his solo series would only last 7 issues, the son of Satan, Daimon, became a reoccurring character in the Defenders and even shacked up with Patsy Walker aka Hellcat for a while. These days he is part of the team called Strike Force, which consists of other heroes that are no stranger to the supernatural, including Blade and Angela. Moving on to number 8, Kid Devil. Kid Devil aka Edward Bloomberg aka Red Devil, lots of names with this guy, first hit the scene in 1984. Now back then he was just Eddie, but a year later he would become Kid Devil. Previously a production assistant for a film production company owned by his aunt, Eddie would cross paths with the Blue Devil Dan Cassidy on a film shoot, and become a fan of the hero, wishing to be his sidekick one day. He applied himself, creating a battlesuit for the hero and then helping him foil an airplane hijacking scheme and actually a lot more. But it wasn't until after Infinite Crisis that Eddie would get himself some superpowers. After a mysterious figure gave him a candle called a demon stick, which when someone lights it teleports you to the stick's creator, he ended up encountering Neron. Neron made a deal with him, giving him a demonic appearance and superpowers. Now these days, after the New 52 continuity revamp, Eddie became Blue Devil's godson, calling himself the Red Devil. But he also checked into Sanctuary during Heroes in Crisis, and he was one of the heroes slain in the shooting caused by Wally West, so he's dead, technically, right now. And at number 7, Alejandra Jones. Alejandra Jones might be one of the lesser known Ghost Rider hosts, but she's still a total bad, although a very inexperienced bad. She's had a rough upbringing. She was the daughter of an American human trafficker sold by her father along with her siblings and other orphans, eventually being trained in a temple in Nicaragua to become the next Ghost Rider by Adam, the first man, like the biblical first man, who was obsessed with ridding the world of sin. Now after Adam convinced Johnny Blaze to give up the curse of being Ghost Rider, Alejandra was chosen to be the next Ghost Rider. Unfortunately for her, her inexperience didn't help much. She was often manipulated, and she was even double-crossed by Blaze himself, which obviously didn't help matters. He offered to train her, but ended up betraying her instead in a scheme to get the curse back and get his Ghost Rider powers. She vowed to get vengeance on Blaze, but that does not look like it'll happen anytime soon. She was killed off in the very recent 2019 Absolute Carnage Symbiote of Vengeance issue 1, because spoilers, Carnage has been bonded with the Spirit of Vengeance now, so he's not on this list, but you know. And at number 6, Blue Devil. First appearing in Fury of Firestorm issue 24 from 1984 in a special insert preview, this DC character would soon come into his own right in his own solo title series released that same year. Blue Devil is Dan Cassidy, originally a stuntman and special effects artist who worked in Hollywood. He had created the Blue Devil bodysuit for a film, but during the shoot the demon Nebulos was accidentally unleashed, and upon seeing Cassidy in his blue demon suit, he believed him to be a real demon. So he tried to drain his powers, but in the process he actually bonded Cassidy to the suit, fusing magic and technology together to create an unusual phenomenon. He was turned into a weirdness magnet. He drew the attention of otherworldly beings, and also was a demon. After striking up a deal with Neron, he would actually be fully transformed into a full real-life demon, although he regretted it, now devoting his life to fighting off the occult evil. And at number 5, Robbie Reyes. Reyes is the 5th character to become Ghost Rider, although arguably he is the 2nd most popular. Reyes first appeared in All New Ghost Rider issue 1 in 2014. Reyes started off as a high school kid who wanted to get away from the dangerous streets of East LA and all the gangs that reside there. So he entered a street race with the intention of using the prize money to move away with his brother. He borrows a Dodge Charger from the auto shop that he works at, but little did he know that there were drugs stored in the vehicle's trunk. He ends up being gunned down by mercenaries hired to retrieve those drugs. But that was not the end for Reyes. He ends up being revived as a demonic being, and learns that he is now possessed with a spirit named Eli Morrow, who claims he was killed by gang members and wants to help Reyes on his quest for vengeance. Turns out Eli is actually Robbie's estranged uncle, who was a satanic serial killer. Fun! So that's a whole relationship the two need to work out, and kinda did actually. Anyway, Johnny Blaze hears there's a new Ghost Rider in town and seeks Robbie out, and ends up using his penance stare on Eli's spirit. Now the important difference between Robbie and the other Ghost Rider is that he isn't possessed by the spirit of vengeance or another demonic entity. Instead, it is just his uncle Eli. He can also turn to a stronger version of Ghost Rider when really angry, but it is harder for him to control and that form is more destructive. Moving on to another Ghost Rider, in at number 4, the Cosmic Ghost Rider. Cosmic Ghost Rider is one of the newer characters on our list, and he's an interesting one for sure. Cosmic Ghost Rider is actually Frank Castle, aka the Punisher, but on an alternate Earth, in which he was killed off during an invasion of Earth by Thanos. He was sent to Hell, where he made a deal with Mephisto to bring himself back to life so that he could continue the fight for his home. He actually died when the Hulk smashed into a building and the debris accidentally killed Castle. Now Mephisto endows him with the spirit of vengeance, turning him into the Ghost Rider. But little does Castle know that when he is returned to the world of the living, everyone on Earth is already dead and Thanos has moved on. So Castle roams the Earth for years and years and years with only Mephisto to bother in an attempt to not be lonely, and Mephisto even starts ignoring him. But not all is lost. Eventually, one day Galactus comes to the planet, seeking help with Thanos. Castle jumps at the opportunity, becoming his herald, endowed with the power Cosmic, hence Cosmic Ghost Rider. Now there's a lot more that happens with his story from there on out, especially as far as Thanos is concerned, but that's for another list another day. Moving on to number 3, Hellboy. Hellboy first hit the scene in Dark Horse Comics in 1993. Created by Mike Mignola, the character is a half-human, half-demon who was summoned to Earth from Hell when he was a baby by Nazi occultists, and also Rasputin. After he was discovered by the Allied forces, he was raised by Professor Trevor Bruttenholm, who would go on to form the Bureau for Paranormal Research and Defense, the organization that Hellboy would grow up and work for, along with a roster of other creative characters fighting against dark forces. Hellboy is anything but malevolent. He's got a great ironic sense of humor, a good heart, and apparently smells like dry roasted peanuts. We would eventually learn that Hellboy had been conceived in 1617 by a witch and the Archduke of Hell. His father would burn away his mother's body to save the child when she tried to repent on her deathbed. Now Daddy Dearest then chopped off the child's arm, replacing it with the right hand of doom, that big rocky thing that Hellboy has for an arm, which would later be revealed to be the key to the end of the world. That is a whole other story for later. This would not go over well in Hell. The Archduke actually had to send Hellboy away and was stripped of his own powers and imprisoned in ice. In at number 2, Johnny Blaze. Johnny Blaze is the OG Ghost Rider, although technically speaking he is the second character to use that mantle. The original fun fact was a character named Carter Slade who would later use the name Phantom Rider, which he's most well known for. That's why we said that thing earlier about Reyes too. There was another guy, but he wasn't really the guy, so. Anyway, Blaze was a motorcycle stuntman who lost his family at a young age. His father, also a stuntman, died in a crash and Johnny was adopted by his dad's employer, a dude named Craig Crash Simpson. Crash was the nickname. When he was old enough, he joined the Simpsons on their traveling stunt show, which is when Blaze learned that Crash had cancer. Blaze looked for ways to help heal Crash, which brought him to researching the occult. He cast a spell that summoned Mephisto, who he naively struck a deal with. He offered Mephisto his soul in order to cure Crash's cancer. The deal was done, but Crash would die anyway, getting into an accident during a stunt in which he tried to jump over 22 cars. Blaze confronted Mephisto, who said Blaze's exact words were to cure his cancer, not to let Crash live. Oof. Unaware of what giving up his soul really meant, he would soon learn that he had been bonded with the demon Zarathos as an act of revenge, transforming him into Ghost Rider, forcing him to punish the wicked. And last but not least, in our number 1 spot, we have Spawn. Spawn is yet another product of the 90s and is definitely one of the first characters you think of when you think of Underworld or Hell in comic books. Created by Todd McFarlane, he made his mainstream debut in 1992 in his own self-titled solo series published by Image Comics. Now Spawn's real name is Albert Francis Simmons, otherwise otherwise known as Al Simmons. Simmons had a career in the US Marine Corps before joining up with the Secret Service and becoming a CIA assassin. He is then murdered on a botched mission. It's later revealed that his partner and best friend Bruce was told to kill him by his superiors. And because of the nature of his work as an assassin, Al finds himself in hell. Distraught by this, he makes a deal with the devil, agreeing to become Hellspawn in exchange for seeing his wife Wanda one last time. But little does he know that the devil plans on tricking him. When he becomes Hellspawn, or rather Spawn, he loses his memory of his past on Earth minus the fact that his name was Al Simmons. His body is also covered in massive burns, and he has a demonic guardian named Violator, who soon becomes one of Spawn's biggest antagonists. Alright, there we have it, friends. What other superheroes from Hell or the Underworld can you think of? Give us a shout in those comments below and let us know your thoughts and feels. If you dug this video, you guys know the drill. Hit that like button, spread that love, and be sure to subscribe to Top 10 Nerd if you haven't already. In the meantime though, thanks for watching, friends. I'll catch you all in the next video. Oh, fraud.
Good old fraud.
Good old fraud. Friday fraud. Malevolent, thank you, Chris.
Yeah.
Malevolent. There was another guy, but he wasn't really the guy.